So today we're talking about what is it again? Ethics over ego. So basically, don't screw over your customer just to close the deal. So, Catherine, since you were first on, we'll let you go first.
So I only found out about a minute ago about this topic, but the first thing that comes to mind is the following. The the reason why your clients hire you is because they trust you. And the minute they feel something happened that was not trustworthy or concerning, they are going to start doubting you, even if they don't mention it. And that's where you lose control of your deals because now your clients don't trust you anymore. So to me, I feel the most important thing, as soon as there is any kind of either a mistake I might have made or my team might have made or anybody in the whole process, escrow or whatever it is, to really right away mention it to your clients and explain what happened and make sure you do everything to take care of the situation. But I think it's very easy to do. You always are truthful and honest, and you keep your clients, instead of avoiding the subject, maybe hoping they didn't notice something that went wrong, you yourself talk about it prior even them mention it. I think that's the where you keep the power and your clients trusting you, and then everything flows. That's my 2 cents for today.
There you go. What's up, Tim? Saying hi to Tim in the chat there. Yeah, it's not rocket science, is it, Catherine? Let's go over to Dennis, who's looking very spiffy there today. Are you in California or Florida?
I am in California.
Oh, well, go back and forth, back and forth.
Just
Uh,
kidding. No, it's a lot of work.
it is, it
Um,
is.
so ethics for real estate guys is there's two modes, right? First you have ethics. Ethics is ethics, right? If you're not ethical, then you're, I don't know, I guess not a good human in my eyes, right? I mean, you have to be ethical to be at peace with yourself, number one. Um, so you have two people you're dealing with. You're dealing with clients, but you're also dealing with real estate agents, right? We're all top real estate agents on this call. If you cross or you're unethical with another realtor in your community, this is a small community, guys, in each of your local markets, your word will get out and you'll be blackballed. I have agents that are blackballed that I remember that 6 years ago that did something a little sneaky on a deal that I was doing. And I'll tell you right now, if they come across one of my offers, they're not going to get the better end of the stick, probably. You know what I'm saying? So your word is everything. Be very ethical. You don't want a bad name or a bad rap in your realtor community because we're doing deals. If I'm doing a deal with Cam Smith or with Catherine and I was unethical a couple of years back, they're going to remember, right? And they're not gonna like me, number one. And number two is they're probably going to bump me out of a deal, which they should, right? So your word is everything, especially in the realtor community. And now for your clients, that's a given, right? Couple things can happen. If you do something wrong or unethical, first off, you could probably lose your license. So why would you even do that in the first place? That's your career. But you can't do that because always have to. We have a fiduciary to our clients, so you have to be ethical at all times. Um, like Catherine said, if you drop the ball somewhere along the line or something's not going right, don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to hide it like a lot of agents do. Just come out and tell your clients, even if it makes you look bad, at least you're being honest and you're doing the right thing by your client. That's the whole ball game. Being unethical in this business with your clients as a fiduciary could get you in hot water, could get you sued. California is a sue happy
Listen,
place.
buddy,
I
I'm
mean,
hopping on a call.
There you go.
oh,
Sorry about that.
So ethics are super, super important. So, again, two people you have to worry about: your clients, number one, right? That's first and foremost, and then also your realtor community. We all, I think you can all agree we have certain agents. Lurchy, you've been in the business forever. You have some agents that you know are scumbags, right? That you're not gonna, man, you're not gonna deal with, right? I mean, there's you just do not want a bad rap ethically with your peer group in this business. So that's my 2 cents right there, Mitchy.
Yep, cool. And it's true. I mean, we all know people. I have tons of agents that I would never do a deal with. And if I saw them come through with an offer, I'd say to my customer, "Look, just gonna let you know this. I gotta present this offer, and but this is not gonna be a fun transaction because we have to take care of our customers still first." Gail, what's up, girl? Nice to see you with your turquoise, aqua, blue, whatever glasses.
You know, it's funny because this topic, when it first came up yesterday, I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't have anything to say. I'm always ethical. And I was saying the same thing about Dennis, other agents, right? And so I'm at a listing appointment yesterday, and in a neighborhood that I do a lot of business at, and I hear a crash, like like poof, like I'm like, oh shit, that sucks. So we go out to look, and it's my freaking husband. I have the house next door under contract, and he went through the garage door. So I was like, oh my God. So at first I'm like, oh shit, I just got to get it fixed before the seller the seller lives in a different state. I'm like, DeMarco, snap out of it. Get on the phone, call her right away, and because you know what? Your reputation is your currency in this market, right? That's really what it boils down to. And, I mean, I have such weird situations, and honestly, I'm always upfront, right? I'm like an oncologist when I'm talking to somebody, if I'm a listing agent, acting as a listing agent or a buyer. I probably break more deals than I could probably write a whole lot more deals, but I will not let somebody buy a house, a piece of crap, or if I see a problem, because I know it's going to come back and bite me just because, at the end of the day, would you buy that house? Would you want someone to sell you that house? Would you, it's such a touchy situation, but I'm so glad when I heard that. I'm like, oh, now I have something to talk about. So I called the seller and I said, and we had the inspection today. First, the inspectors were there, his tire marks on the driveway. We're not talking, by the way. So it's like, but she's like, Gail, accidents happen, right? So just, be upfront. And just remember, your reputation is your currency, because just like you, I will blackball an agent if I see somebody that, I had an agent recently, and we were really walking on thin ice with this deal. And she was like probably one of the worst agents, came off as the best agent. And she was side texting my seller the entire time. And I said, I normally, hey, can I buy your cart? Hey, can you make sure your golf cart? Can I, just having these full on conversations. And he's a sheriff. So he goes, I said, I was going to shut it down. I'm like, you know what? Keep doing it. Because if you F with me during this deal, I'm bringing you to the ethics committee. Because a lot of time, I'm like, you should not be talking to, yes, I do blackmail here and there, but you should not be talking to your buyers, to the other party's clients. That is not what you're supposed to be doing. If you're not representing them, you should not be having a conversation with them, whether you're at an inspection or not. Keep your mouth shut. And, besides being cordial and saying, hello and that sort of thing, but don't give your advice to somebody else's client for sure. And don't act like you're representing a client if it's not yours. That's all I got for you, Mitch.
Yeah,
See ya.
no, that's good. There's not a lot to this because it's pretty easy. What I really is like definitely giving examples is what I want people to hear, because that's really how you're going to learn from this stuff is things that we've all been through, unethical issues with agents and with customers too. But the customers aren't always ethical either, right? It's not like they're always right. I don't buy the customer's always right crap. Lurchy, you're up, bud.
You know what? I've got a couple philosophies. I'm going to give you some lines you can write down. First of all, little pigs live, big pigs get slaughtered. Gail said it. The only thing you can keep that you can charge is and your value is your reputation. I was at a settlement yesterday with an agent that's known me 26 years and a title clerk. And she spent more time raving about working with me to her client and that we got this thing done for them than she did anything else. And, it was almost to the point of embarrassing. But the point is that she goes, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like dealing with a lot of people, and I've always dealt with you this way, and it's consistent. So it does get out on the street. Your reputation's there. You've got to understand that if you're not going to do this in front of the person you love the most or your mother, why are you doing it? And if it's being done to one of your own family, how would you like it and how would you respond to it? We all joke about fun things. Like we have the saying, work like you don't have to, love like you never been hurt, and dance like like dance like nobody's watching. But in Philly, we have the saying, it's only illegal if you get caught. It's better be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And it's only expensive if you can't afford it. And that's my liner for you, Gail. But, it's funny, but it's not. Don't have the commission breath. Understand where this is going. I know that I have a client that we went to settlement with the other day. We had a deal and they did some side business, which brought the sale price down. The other agent still wanted to be paid on that number. And I couldn't not be paid on that number the way it was laying out on the sheet because I would have had some challenges. But I know that he has another property coming up. And I literally said to him, I am going to take it here, but I'm going to take it off over here because I can do it from the beginning here versus changing it. And he's like, well, that's honorable of you. I said, no, it's what's right, but I got to do this for bookkeeping to show that we've done everything right. Understand what you're doing, understand where you're at, and be willing to put your heart on the sleeve. And ethics comes from internal. It's your internal self. It's your true identity. Behavior never lies. If you've done it once or somebody's done it twice, 3, not so much. It's not going to happen. So I got a little black book. I got some people and I call them. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. We're not doing it this way. And as long as you address it in the beginning, expectations and confrontations change because not everybody else's expectations are in the same plan. If you set the expectations and set the bar, that's where you're at. I know this is old school ROG stuff, but guess what, man? Bottom line is the only thing you can die with and take with you is your word. Everything else we own is on lease. So understand that. So, and going in front of an ethics board is not fun. Been there, done that. The better you are in business, the more people are looking to cut your Achilles heel and take you down. Understand that. So if you're good or you want to be good, you've got to be 100% better than everybody else because they will take you down. And a little fraction for you could be a huge fraction for somebody else. And that other person will get away with it, but you can get nailed on a small fraction because they're going to say, you should know.
Yep.
No. So that's my philosophies of ethics.
Yep. And you definitely don't want to be in the 6 people carrying you out, right? I was just yesterday, I had to go to a board of directors thing. Being a past president, I had to be on it's called the qualifying committee for our new board of directors coming in. So I've been changing my outfit a little bit, and it's more like, I don't know, get into that. But anyways, so I walk in and the girl looks at me and goes, what are you, part of the Jewish mafia? It's pretty funny. Anyways, Raj, you're up, bud.
Nice. You get to piggyback off Lurch. That's pretty awesome. And you hit the nail on the head on so many things, just like everybody has. But like when Lurch said, it starts in here, it has to start there before you get in the predicament, right? If you don't establish your core values and who you are before you enter into any scenario, then you are set up to lose a battle in your mind, right? Ethics is a decision. It is something that you can say it's innately right or wrong, but at the end of the day, when we're presented with a problem, we have a choice. And if you haven't already chose what you're going to do, whether it be right or wrong, or if you're going to support yourself or your client, the choice can be difficult. You don't know what people are dealing with. Do I have $1 in my bank? And I know that there's a crack in the slab, but nobody's caught it yet. And I need this sale to go through. Are you going to tell your client? it seems like it's a no-brainer, but when your back's against the wall, who are you? And that's a big question to always ask yourself. You need to be able to wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror and like who you are, right? You have to be able to believe in what you're doing. And that's what ethics is to me. I know that people drive through garage doors. I know that people want to, say they're going to pay for a home warranty and not pay for a home warranty. These are rather small things, but when it gets down to it, you make one decision and that could be a mistake. You make two decisions, it's becoming a habit. You make three decisions, it's who you are. And four decisions is a lifestyle. What lifestyle are you choosing for yourself? Who are you going to portray yourself to the public, to people that you're doing deals with? Just like all these guys on the call, I know when I see a listing, it's like, oh, great, ready to get zero response on my offer because he's not going to do a deal with a buyer agent. He's just going to double end it. I'll call him 10 times, no call back. Like, what good business model is that? And guess what? They haven't grown at all. They make the same amount of money every year because they're screwing people in the process. If you're not going to live with an abundance mindset, understand there's enough business out there for everyone, and you will be taken care of at the end of the day because of the way that you're conducting yourself. If you have that belief and that thought process, then you can't lose. But it's just a matter of making that decision before you're in a situation, because it can be hard depending on your circumstances. We can all sit up here and say, oh, it's easy because like everyone on this call has been wildly successful and I look up to all of them. But when it comes to when you're just getting started, like, who are you? So I'll just give you a couple tips. What I like to do with my team is I like to establish our rocks. What are our core values, right? So when you look at core values, like David Lawson was texting us on our group chat, and he was like, do the right thing. That is something that he's written down, that he's adopted, his leadership's adopted, his whole team has adopted, do the right thing. And that's a pretty broad stroke, but I think that covers things like, something that we've written down as a group is we want to be ethical. We want to be servants to the community. And if we're out there trying to serve other people, it's pretty difficult to become selfish and then try and take in those situations where you could have an opportunity to be unethical. So write things down, build who you are before you enter into the place. And hopefully you've already done that, and that's part of your upbringing. You are, but if you're just venturing out in the business and you don't know,
Oh, do we lose Russ?
Frozen time.
you may have lost me.
There,
Yep.
You guys are all hey, I'm back. You
There
guys
you are.
froze for me too. It was a weird glitch in time. Cool. Anyways, I guess that's my cue to stop talking. So I'll catch you guys.
There you go. Great. Have fun at the conference today.
All right.
All right, who we got? We got Cam is up next.
oh boy. Hey guys. So this is a good one. Kind of gonna dig into this, and I'm gonna make this. I want to do. We got a lot of time here, so I think we could probably, after we go through the last couple of people, we can kind of open it up. I'm going to talk about the difference of ethics versus morals because they are very different. Ethics are the external guidelines that we have as agents. It's the law. Like if we break our ethics, like a few people said, you go up against the ethics board, which is never any fun. I had the joy of being reported to the ethics board one time. Thankfully, they dismissed it, but it was because I changed a word in a public review. So someone left me a review on Google Reviews, and I decided to use that review somewhere else on different marketing, and I changed one of the words totally by accident. It was just by accident. And someone saw it and they reported me. And thankfully it wasn't a big drawn out, crazy ethics thing, but I had to go through this whole review process where I had to send a whole bunch of stuff in, and it was a nightmare. It was a total nightmare over the fact that I changed one word, which was my fault. I admit to it. And you can't do that. That is what ethics are, right? That is what ethics are. They're a guideline on things that you cannot do. And as everyone's already said on this call so far, which has been great, is you cannot be the bad guy. We live and we work in a very tight-knit group of realtors and in our communities. You cannot be doing things that are unethical. You cannot be doing things which are clearly outlined and says that they are against the rules. That's what an ethic is, you guys. I always tell people the way that I solve this situation or the problem with ethics and what's right and what's wrong, it's just being extremely blunt with people up front. It's just, that's the truth. Is that when you first interact with a new client, no matter if it's buyer, seller, telling them how it really is, right? In our market down here, for the past while, it's been declining. And I've been telling buyers that we're in a declining market. Not that it's a bad time to buy, but you need to know this. You need to know what you're really getting into when you're buying a home. And for sellers, the biggest part of being, in my opinion, totally ethical is giving them the real value that their home is worth, that it'll sell for. You're not going to be able to sugarcoat it and say they can get 60, 80, 100, $200,000 more today like you could here just a little while back. And those to me are what I have built my business on. And while some people might call them just kind of common sense, I believe they're really my ethics. They are everything that I stand for, and they are my foundation to my business. Now, the reason I wanted to separate ethics and morals is because morals, on the other hand, are each individual person. Everyone here on the panel, we all have good morals, but we all have different morals. We all have different levels on how we can approach every situation. And that's really important for each person that's watching this to understand that you can have morals that are different than mine. For example, one of the things that I always do when I am meeting with sellers that are looking at selling their home and they're interviewing other agents is I do what's called an agent report card. Okay. And some people I've literally been told at the listing with other agents, they told me how awful this is and how, against the rules, that it's not against the rules. But all it is I'm showing the client the truth. How much has this other realtor that they're interviewing actually done? And that could be against someone's morals. That could be like you're the bad guy there. Well, I don't believe so. I think it's fair. I think my ethics actually prove that I want the seller to choose who they want based on the facts, on the reality of what's going on, not just based on the 15 or 20 minute sales pitch that the agent gives them. So remember, when we're growing your business, starting your business, we all have moral dilemmas. Okay, we all have the decisions that we have to make. Are we going to do something that could potentially devalue our moral ethics? And is it something that, like I think Craig was saying, is this something that you could go to your mom and ask her about? Right? My mom's name's Carol. I think a lot of you guys know this, but Carol, what would Carol say? That's just something that I have to decide with myself every time that I do an agent report card, or if I do something like when I tell a seller that the other agent just blatantly lied to them. They're in what we call fantasy land, and that's not their fault. A lot of agents are there, but that agent is lying to you. Now, is that morally okay? Is that ethically okay? I'm gonna let all of you guys decide that, because this is part of the business that you need to know, and you need to be managing yourself day in and day out, because every conversation we have, you guys, we're salespeople. We can stretch the truth. We can bend the truth. We can make it look like whatever we want, as long as you are following your morals, right? And how I do that, it's simple. What would Carol say? What would my mother say if she knew what I was doing? And that is how I've been able to align my moral strategy for life. And regarding ethics, and I want to touch back on this because I know this was the point of the call today. If you would not do this to your family, if you would not do this to your child or your kids, there's no excuse that you would ever be doing this to a client, right? Someone just said earlier, if you know there's a manufacturing default or there's a default in the home that is significant and it's something that isn't just easily be done, you need to make sure ethically and morally that you are that you are disclosing this, right? You need to make sure that nobody gets stuck in a home that there's something significantly wrong with it. Now, with that said, we're not the inspectors, right? So it's not ethically our job to go in and try to describe every issue there could potentially be. And we don't even know what they are because we don't have the licensing and the knowledge to do that. What we can do though, right, ethically and morally, is continually refer them back to their inspector, refer them back to their counsel, refer them to make sure that they are going through and they are doing everything that they should be doing, either meaning your clients, everything that your clients should be doing to protect themselves. That is exactly why we are their advisors. That is our job. What happens though is like I believe it was Russ was just saying, we get commission breath. We get stuck on the, this is our $14,000 commission, and we know we only got $2,200 in our bank account, and we're not going to make it till next closing if this deal falls through. Well, you guys, here's the truth. If you look at this as your career, which it is, this is going to be the career that you are taking part of for the rest of your life, that $12,000 will not matter. It just won't. There's nothing you can say or do. 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, that $12,000 does absolutely nothing. But if you do hide stuff, if you are unethical, which is what this is all about, if you hide stuff, if you are deceitful, if you are not running your business as it should be done, which is on the up and up, it's being completely transparent. It's, the ultimate glass house, right? Everyone can see all the way through it from one side to the other. If you're not doing this, you will get caught. It's not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if it's a matter of when. Sorry about that little Donald Trump there. No, but it doesn't matter if you were going to keep trying to bend the rules and trying to twist and make things look a certain way, because sooner or later you will get caught in this business just because it's unable to be transparent while doing stuff that's unethical. The way that I would say for everyone that is dealing with these situations, which I know there's thousands of agents in our groups that are struggling. I mean, just blatantly honest, that the markets have slowed down. They're struggling. They're starting to feel that pressure of finances. They're starting to feel that, commission to commission, where they're going check to check every month, and they're not able to just be free and cancel deals or have deals flip, and they're not worried about them. That's just not happening anymore with most agents. You need to remember that in 5 years, you either will be out of this business or you're going to be able to grow a foundation that's going to allow you to continue growing. And I promise you, even in downward markets like we're in right now, you have an extreme advantage in the fact that you're here with our group. We can tell you exactly what works in selling markets. You can tell you what works in buying markets, in the roller coaster markets. We have the solutions that we can give you. I was actually just on a call with one of our agents that reached out. He just said, Cam, I'm slowed down. What's going on, man? What can you do? Instantly gave him 3 or 4 things that he can start doing this week. Once you get your pipeline filled back up, once you have multiple deals back in the coffers and you're back to doing business, no matter if it's a complete pivot from what you've done in the past or if it's the same thing, just done a little bit differently, you're able to continue growing that business, which then these ethics and moral questions are much easier because you are always going to be able to do what's right. Okay. I 17 years in this business now. I've had many challenges where I went, man, I don't want to tell them. But you know what? That's just when you shut up, you turn your brain off, you call the person, you admit that, like Gail was saying, shit, we ran into your garage door. I'm so sorry. I can't believe it. Well, it happens. It happens to all of us. There's been so many times that I've been in houses or around houses and I caused an issue, but none of them are significant problems, you guys. Even if you run into somebody's garage door, even if you cause some trouble and you have a really big accident and oh my gosh, you just broke something, you broke a $4,000 chandelier, oh my God, what are we gonna do? You call the person and you tell them immediately. Because once the problem is out and they can work on a solution. If what you're trying to do for a solution is to cover it up, you're never gonna be able to find a solution that actually works for everybody. And it leaves you as the solution maker, right? Yeah, you might have caused the problem, but you can still be the fixer. You can still be the guy that fixes the problem for people. And that is where our true value comes. That is what people rely on us for. That's what people hire us for. We are their agents, you guys. We're their representation. So obviously there's not a ton of stuff to talk about regarding morals and ethics and all of that stuff, obviously, other than just do them. Like, what would your family say? What would your kids say if you told them kind of the truth? Follow that guideline for ethics. You know the rules. If you don't know the rules, they're out there. You can check in with your board. They have a whole rules of ethics that you can read through. 99% of the time, though, it's just being bluntly honest with them, upfront with them. being transparent, and then working through the problems with them. You're going to come out 100 times better doing that than trying to do it the opposite way. So I want to hear, once we get through everyone, kind of open it up, because I know there's some discussion here. But I think that for everyone on this call, the key to all of this, you guys, is just pick up the phone, admit your mistakes, work through them, and you're going to find that the problems that you think you have and these big giant issues, they're not really that big of an issue. So that's what I got.
There you go. Cool. Peter.
All right. Wow, a lot of interesting conversations around ethics. You know, I'm going to be quick and to the point. You know, I was always told by my father, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing, and it's never the right time to do the wrong thing. And I think your character and your intent and your ethics are what you are, right? That's your big thing. Your word is everything. Your character is everything. Your integrity is everything. What I see in the marketplace right now is just a lot of agents get caught up with ethics and accountability because they don't know how to manage what they're doing or what they're saying. So a lot of times they'll make things up and say, oh, here's the situation. You know, they get asked a question, they start searching for the answer instead of just saying, you know something, I don't know that exact answer. Let me go find out and I'll let you know. I think that's an issue we have in our industry. People not communicating is an issue in our industry. People not showing up for appointments is an issue in our industry. So if you make a scheduled showing on a property, make sure you show up. If you don't show up, step aside for 5 minutes and call those agents and say, you know, an emergency came up, or they're not going to be able to make it today, or I need to reschedule. But if you set that appointment, your integrity is on the line and you need to follow through. I feel that we have a code of ethics for a reason. I feel that you know the people who are doing it incorrectly because you can see the burn marks behind them when they walk, right? Because they burn a lot of bridges. And I would just stay away from those people and take note of them. You know, elevate your experience up higher than what they are doing with their service of their experience, because you know, telling the truth is the easiest thing to remember. So telling the truth is the easiest thing to remember. If you tell a lie, it leads to another lie, it leads to another lie, it leads to another lie, and you can't remember the lies you're telling, and it will catch up to you. So being in the industry for a long, long, long time, right? Mitchie and I would just say to anybody out there, the way you do things is the way people are going to perceive you. So always tell the truth. All right. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and I got some good stuff here that I want to talk about too, because I it's probably my biggest thing in life that I've learned over the years is I'm too freaking old now to remember anything I do dishonestly, so I can't do it. Like if I tell you something, if it's not the truth, I am not going to remember a lie. So I can't lie anymore. It just doesn't work. A couple of things I want to. So first of all, my dad, when I was a really, really young kid, I remember he caught me doing something. I don't remember what it was, but I was probably 10, 11, 12. And I completely lied through my teeth, which we all did to our parents when we were kids. These days, it's harder to do that because they're tracking every move that you did. But back in the 70s, they couldn't do that. Yes, I'm that old. So he said, you need to own your mistakes. And it was such a powerful line that he said to me. He goes, and that was it. And so I'm not that I've been perfect with that my whole life, but I really try to, when I screw up, ask my wife, she'll tell you very, very adamantly, I screw up all the time. But I will take that and say, look, yep, I screwed up. And I own it. So I don't try to sugarcoat it. I don't try to do anything else with it. In the end, your reputation, whether it be amongst regular people, not real estate people, your customers, other realtors, just in life, your reputation is all you got. I mean, integrity is all you have. You have to lead with integrity. I'm going to give you a quick story. So we had a house listed on my street And I don't take listings on my street because I don't want to deal with my neighbors personally. And so I did it once and it was a mistake. So I haven't done it since. I don't live in my neighborhood, but I just don't like them on my street where they can come knock on my door and say, "Hey, Mitch, what the hell's going on?" So anyway, so we had a listing about 4 doors down. At the time, it was worth about 450, 475, and it got listed on the market for 350. It was gone within an hour. And by the way, I was in the house, nice house. I mean, I knew the value was about 450. It was gone within an hour, maybe 2 hours. It was contingent because it was probably 20. I mean, I saw cars lining up to go see it because it's such a great price for a waterfront property. And I know the realtor, who's probably one of the scummiest realtors we have in the county that I live in, and he priced it that price because he needed a sale. He did not price that. He basically stole $75,000 to $100,000 from that customer. Now I know the guy, and I know he paid $300 for the property, so he literally could have made $150,000, and instead he made, probably by the time he was done, he probably made 10 grand, 20 grand. So that happens all the time. So the one thing, and I think Tim on here said it in the notes, never jeopardize or say something because you need a paycheck, right? If that's how you're running your business, you need to get the hell out of the business. I'm sorry, but you don't just hurt you or your customer, you hurt everybody at your brokerage. I remember one time when I owned Tropical Realty, and one of my agents did something scummy, fired immediately, by the way, as I did several times over the years. And the customer said, "Look, I'll never use Tropical Realty ever again." So it wasn't me. Even though I had 120 agents, 118 were awesome. 2 I had to fire weren't. But our entire company was hurt by that. And worse, they were posted online that never used Tropical Realty. They're scumbags, right? So not only these days you don't get away with stuff these days. It's not like the old days where you could say something and maybe they tell 5 people. They tell thousands of people now. So it's really important that you do the right thing all the time. And then my final part on this is karma. Karma is an amazing tool. I'm a huge universe guy. Those of you know me, I live by the universe. Do what you can to help other people, and you'll get whatever you want. The old Zig Ziglar stuff. And the reality is it's really, really bad if you do bad things, because it's going to come back and haunt you. It's going to come back and haunt you really bad. That's what I got. Matt, I completely skipped you by accident. The shine off the head kind of blocked me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt. You're up.
Well, I got a very short one. So I had a mentor when I first got in the business. I was with Realty Executives. This was in 1999. And this guy's name was Richard Myers. He's since passed away. But he was an older guy and he'd been in the business forever, owned brokerages. And he used to say, Matt, this business is so damn easy if you just do the right thing. And I always remember that. And it's so true. And that's what everybody's saying. But we all know what the right and wrong thing to do is. You just always do the right thing. It's very simple. So I always remember that. And it is shocking sometimes when you see people, I can't tell you the number of times I've seen an agent do something and think, I'll even, say, are they crazy? Like, what are they thinking? They are crazy. And I guess they don't ever think they're going to get caught doing some of these things. And a lot of times they don't. But it's very, very simple. We all know what the right thing is to do. You just do the right thing in every case. You treat your clients as you would want to be treated. And I also think that's a great thing. It's a great selling point when you talk to buyers and sellers. Look, I'm going to treat your equity as if it's my equity. I'm going to be your best friend in the real estate business. I'm going to advise you to do exactly what I would do if I was in your position. And I'm not attached to, it's not going to change my life if this house sells or doesn't sell. I'm out to get you the absolute best result on this transaction. And that really does resonate with people. So that's all I got to say about that.
100%. So actually, we got a little special guest today that I wasn't expecting. So we have Ann Shayan, who's our state broker for Florida. and she's like, I got something to say. So I'll never, when Ann wants to talk, I let Ann talk, and she's one of the sharpest people I know. Go ahead, Ann.
Oh, thank you. This is really, really wonderful. I'm going to repeat what Gail said: is do the right thing when nobody's watching. That, when you put your head to bed at night, did I do the right thing? Was I fair to everybody that crossed my path today? And I heard something said, and I wrote it down. We want to be a servant in the community. Which community? Everyone that's involved in the transaction, not just the customers, the buyers, the sellers, but also the real estate community. I have been blessed to be the broker of 8,000 agents in the state of Florida, but not blessed to show up to all the ethics hearings, the arbitrations, and the litigations, as you can imagine. I'm the one that goes in front of the panel with you. And some of the things that you see is really quite mind-boggling. One of the things, and when I say the community is beyond the buyers and sellers, you're all extraordinary realtors. If you know the person you're working with is making mistakes, now obviously we don't come out and say you're making a mistake. For example, something I'm seeing a lot of is an agent will call the listing agent, say, is the seller cooperating? Yes, they are. Are they paying? Of course, cooperating. Are they compensating? And they say, yes, they are. And then they forget to put it on the contract. What's the right thing to do when you're the listing agent? I see it time and time again. They let the transaction go, and then there's a big blow up towards the latter part, because it's either you're going to sue your buyer to get paid, or you're going to try to get the seller to pay. So it's doing the right thing across the board, because you're remembered for everyone. Someone said that I think it was it UCAM that rates your agents at the end of your transaction. I'm sure you get rated too. A customer comes and goes. The community is there to stay. The people that you work with are here long term. And how do they remember you? Do they remember you for doing the right thing, or just remember you to get a transaction through because you were looking for the paycheck? But the reason I needed to add is you guys have done an extraordinary job, and I'm listening to all this thinking this is really cool. Now, I also wanted to put in a plug. I don't know if any of you received your newsletter this week, which went out the 29th, so it was a couple days ago. It had something. We had a guest speaker, which is our paralegal. She's a senior principal with EXP. She's for the state of Florida. She did a session on ethics. And if she, of course, not the moral part, but the actual ethics, the laws. So if you have interest, look for it. She was really quite extraordinary. And she went through different articles that get violated most often. Arbitration, of course, Article 17. And nowadays, things that we worry about is Article 16, where someone will interfere with somebody else's contract. So I just wanted to put in a plug in case you haven't seen it. It seems to be right in line with what you guys are doing today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Ann, for sharing. And these guys, just so you know, these are from all over the country. We have people from San Diego, Philadelphia. Gail's up in St. Augustine. Cam's over in Fort Myers area. We're very blessed to have some amazing agents here.
And most of the training that she did is not Florida centric. Some of it was, but most of it was really more of the code of ethics. So if anybody has interest, just let us know. We'll get it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it. We have 13 minutes here. So here's what we're going to do. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 of us on here. Look, I can count tabs. I'm pretty good. 2 years of college paid off for me. I'm very excited. So we're going to go through each person, and you can stay on and share this too with you, because I love you. You're awesome. We'll start with Dennis, since he's in my corner, and we're just going to go in 30 seconds or less, or a minute or less. What is the number one tip you would give somebody today? It has nothing to do with ethics, by the way, to kickstart their business that's stuck.
It's always, for me, Mitch, an open house, right? Do an open house. I had an agent in my office, in my squad, do an open house. He picked up a $1.5 million buyer that he's showing houses to. This isn't rocket science, guys. Just do open houses, as many as you can, and do them from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Don't do 1 to 4 like every weak agent does. So, step up. I mean, you're sitting there, people walking in to you to give you their phone numbers. So that's my tip.
Perfect. Gail, you're next.
Absolutely. I echo what Dennis just said, but absolutely role playing every morning and prospecting. I mean, I just came here from California after leading a large team there, and I'm already at almost 20 million with just even include my off market deals in 1 year. And how did I do it? I have a telephone. We all have a freaking telephone. So get to work. All I can tell you is it's out there. Somebody's doing good in this market. Why not you? And get a mentor. Like I'm actually forming a team now because so many people are coming to me for mentoring because they're like, how are you doing it? So if you're not on a team, join a team or get a mentor.
There you go. Craig.
Real easy. I think a Nike has it. Just do it. Do the do. Do what you're supposed to do. Show the freak up at work. Put your pants on. Don't watch the clock. I sent something to Pete and those guys the other day. Do the tasks at work. Being a leader and being an excellent in what you do is not easy, or everybody do it. And remember, everybody, like I said before, is going to knock you down. But if you want your kids and your family to learn about what you do, they don't do what you say. They do what they see you do. This is my call sheet. I go through it every day. It has 50 dials on it. It has whether I do a follow-up, a connect, a voicemail. I need to make at least 25 connects a day. At least. Or I'm not allowed to go home. I've got an early day today because I'm going to my goddaughter's rehearsal dinner tonight for her wedding tomorrow night. I'm on this call. I'm losing time. But guess what? You guys are important to me. But I have an hour and a half after this, and I still have another 10 connects that I have to make, whether it's past clients, shoulder industry people, whatever it might be, or just telling somebody I appreciate them, another agent, seeing what they have off market. I had an agent call me right before this, said, by the way, I'm putting something on the market on the 20th. It's 5-acre piece in our area. You might be able to build 7 homes. I know you have buyers. I want you to sell it before it gets to market. That was this phone call right before. That means I've been doing the do, or I helped them before in the past. Did the ethics, the morals, and the work. Just do the damn work. Stop whining.
There you go.
Sorry.
Good job. All right. Oh, we good? Peter, you're up, bud.
I agree with what everybody else say. You know, what I would do is I'm going to steal this from Mitchie. There's somebody in your phone right now who needs your help. So all you have to do is make 5 phone calls a day, check in on people. It's called the check-in. And at the end of the check-in, after they share with you what they're doing with their lives or their summers or going back to school or whatever, say, by the way, can you help me? They're going to say yes. Say, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or diversify into real estate in the next 30 days? That's it. And then shut up and see what they say. And if they say, you know something, Mitch, right now I don't know anyone, thank them. Say, thank you for thinking about me. I'd appreciate it if you think about me often and pass my name along. It would mean a lot to me. Do you mind if I check back with you in 2 weeks? Put it in your Google Calendar, call them in 2 weeks. Don't talk real estate, talk life. Hey, I want to see how everything's going. Can I do anything for you? And you'll keep refreshing in their mind that you'll be top of mind. People don't use you because they don't know you. People don't use you because they think that you forget about them. That's it. That's what I would do. I make 80 to 100 calls a day. Some calls work out, some calls don't. My wife's ready to strangle me because I'm loud, because I'm Bostonian. And I walk around on speakerphone because I won't put my cell phone next to my head. And it's been a real problem. So I'm trying to figure that out. But keep calling, keep asking for the order. What can I do to help you? How can I help you find your dream home? Are you living in your dream home? What can you do? That's what I would do. Outside of the open houses, I would do that every single day. And I would get in the right mindset. You know, if you look at the top people in this industry, they don't wake up at 8 and go to work at 9 or 10 and leave at 2. They wake up at 5. They have a quiet hour for an hour with a routine, with a system to get into character. and they're usually in the office by 8, and they have it structured, and they have a plan to win the day. Are you planning to win your day? That's all you have to do is win one day. Then tomorrow, win another day. Then the next day, win another day. And as you line up wins, be kind to yourself. You know, look in the mirror every night and say, what did I do well today? What did I achieve today? Because we all get to do this. We don't have to do this. We're not required to do this. We get to help people advance their lives through real estate. It's a very powerful thing. You just have to twist it in how you look at that. That would be my advice.
Cool. Awesome. Love it. Catherine, you're up, girl.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so to me, I feel it was most instrumental when I started this business is number one, finding the right partners as an awesome lender, an awesome title rep, awesome home inspector, awesome escrow company, and a TC. If you have these 6, vendors, I would call them, I'm not sure how to call them, who become basically part of your team, that will change tremendously how everything else is going to happen for you in terms of gaining clients. And to do so, I did not do that, but I wish I would have told I should be doing this, is to call some of the top producer and ask them, who do you use for a lender? Who do you use for escrow? And who do you use for home inspector? Because then you get right away some top-notch partners to help you with your business. In my case, I was a complete dinosaur. So in terms of technology, I did not even know how to download a file. I didn't zero. I used to have my staff print my emails. So I was really traumatized. And I feel, even though I was broke because I just lost another business, I still found a way to pay a part-time assistant to help me with what I'm not good at, I didn't know how to do, or I don't like to do. And then I progressed to now have 2 assistants, thank God. And I feel that's why I'm so successful. I'm a solo agent, and I would not do the volume I'm doing without my assistants at all. So I would strongly suggest and get an assistant. I didn't have that, but get an assistant who already has in the past assisted another top producer, that they already know what they are doing, because that's going to help you tremendously. Because at first, it's so difficult, honestly, to get started. So many things you need to put in place and learn, that it's worth the investment if you can, even if it's a part-time assistant that already has done it for somebody else. So that's my tip.
Excellent. Okay, and we got about 2 minutes for you and about a minute for Cam, or a minute each. So, Ann, you're up.
Yes. Well, what you have to do is, if you want to get your business up and running quickly, is first of all, assess the different types of prospecting that you're doing and look for immediate prospect, things that will have an, immediate prospecting activity. Assess your day. For any of you that were by referral, we used to measure our day by green time. Green time was something I did that would put a closing in my pocket one day. And obviously for me, I was a prospector. Every day I had specific times of the day that I made calls. I love the idea of saying, I need to make 20 calls a day and I need to make those calls. But, the prospecting, the open houses, the expired listings, the for sale by owners, what are immediate return income activities? And I think the agents should focus on those.
Awesome. Great. Cam.
And that was so good. You should be on every week. But I'm going to kind of repeat what you just said there is the first thing everyone needs to do, even us on the panel, is admit to ourselves where our business really is. Okay. You got to admit yourself. Once you do that, then you're kind of going through those steps of, what is it, failure or grief or whatever it is. What is it? Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. We'll stop all of that. The trick is to do what Pete said earlier and admit that you don't know. Once you admit you don't know, then you can start looking for answers. You can look for solutions. You can ask us. That's what we're here for, is we want to help you. I think all of you know this. Anyone can set up 15 or 30 minutes to talk with me. talktocam.com. I would love to share with you what is working for us. But just admit that you don't know what to do right now. Stop trying to figure it out on your own. You have all of us to help you. And that's it. Once you admit you don't know what to do, we can help you. And then once you know what to do, it's like everybody else has said, you got to go do it. When you do it, the trick is every single thing you do throughout your day, every interaction you have, you should be expecting to have a public Google review written for what you just did. If you expect everyone to be just totally blatantly honest, you are going to step your game up because you're going to want to provide excellent service. You're going to want to be the friendliest person they've ever talked to. You're going to be giving them Starbucks gift cards because they deserve it. You're going to do things that you'd never even think of because you're focused on being the absolute best you are so that you can get those great reviews, which then builds your business. But the first step is just admit you don't know all of it. I don't know all of it. That's why I'm here. You know, we're all in the same boat, but we're learning together. Be part of the group, buy in, and then work your butt off. Work your butt off. If you do that, you'll have success.
Awesome, good stuff. And I'm going to give you one exercise to do because I have about 30 seconds here. So one of the things when I take on a coaching student is I make them track every minute of every day for 7 days, and I really encourage even everybody on the panel. And what I find is that most people who are working in real estate full time are averaging 2 to 3 hours a day of actual work. Right? If you really committed 4 to 5 hours a day, you would change your life. But that all comes with time blocking and all that stuff. But track every minute. I do it once a year for myself because I'm always trying to be more efficient. That's what got me so good at time blocking, is that I literally analyzed every minute of every day for 7 full days. And it was amazing how much time I was wasting with got minutes and being distracted to something I was in the middle of working on, getting distracted. You know, if you're not focused on what you're doing, it's a tough business anyways. If you're not running this like a really true business person, especially in this type of market, it's a go get a job type of business, right? And we don't want you to get a job because then we won't have any more people in here. But anyways, thanks everybody for the week. We'll see you all next week. Ann, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. And we'll see you guys all next week.
Thanks, you guys. See you guys.
À bientôt. Bonne journée.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Always bonjour.
Bisous, bisous.